Welcome everybody to another RWD gaming video. Tonight we're going to be playing Upper and Fury. This is Red Dawn Session 3. Outside of that, I'm going to hand it over to Phil.
Hey guys, I'm Philip. I'm going to be the DM tonight, Session 3. And who wants to do a recap besides Holt of the last session?
All right, so here's what happened.
Cool. Thanks, Alex.
There was the red, what were they, the Red Fang?
Yeah.
Red Fang. We were going to go mess them up because they're the bad guys. And we snuck over to their place.
They started the fire.
They started the fire. And they burned down Oak City, which was no good. So we went over to go fuck up their day. We got there and they're just giant tree. So we managed to get up into the tree with some sneakiness. We attacked their leader, who was a giant white fox. She cast some magic. She kicked some butt, but in the end we triumphed. Killed her, got some magical loot, and head back to the refugee camp to talk about how great we were. And then they had a feast, and everyone was pretty happy.
Yeah, actually, there was the feast that was before you guys went out and attacked the Marlfox. You guys have not returned to the refugee camp yet, but that other feast was for you guys stopping the fire from moving forward north. So, anyway, exactly, and another thing that you guys found in addition to your magical items was a list that was written in Badger. And you guys have that, but none of you speak Badger, so. And Holt, Jonathan, why don't you tell us what you were doing while they were off trying to kill the people who started the fire?
So in our session before that, by the end of it, we had been gifted with the miracle of birth, and a newborn girl was now with us. And in the Society of the Badgers, it is customary for a birth hunt to take place. So Holt left all of his belongings with Gilderoy, excepting his trusty spear, and headed off into the wilderness. He traveled for many days, foraging when he could, before coming across a small farm owned by a family known as the Monmouths. There was the husband built, the wife Marion, and then their 4 children: Marion, Darian, Carrion, and Barian. And they were basically describing something to Holt that they could only call a dragon. It was a giant serpent that would coil around the hills and basically form hills as it traveled along the ground. And Holt went off to slay this beast and found it living in a green valley near to the farm. This creature could actually converse. It was actually a giant cobra that Holt found himself facing off against, named Farsi. And he conversed with this creature for as long as he could before Farsi finally was fed up with Holt and his nonsense and struck. There was a long battle that ensued, and finally Holt managed to slay this beast, but not before the snake's venom poured across half of his face, costing Holt his eye. And Holt, he... what's that?
That's fucking intense.
Yeah, Holt, though, he's not one to let that sort of thing get him down. So he soon went to skinning this thing and is now making his way back, carrying the hide of this giant creature on his back.
Awesome. So, the three of you, Sylvia, Nethouse, and Gilderoy, you guys are returning to the refugee camp. I think you guys, did you take anything besides just the equipment? You left all the bodies there and stuff?
I can't remember if I wanted to skin the giant monster or not. I feel like I did.
Yeah, I thought you did too.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I did.
So we're going to say you're traveling with either with the hide of the giant white fox also. And you guys are on the road to the refugee camp, the path to the refugee camp. And as you are walking along this path, you see a hulking creature in front of you that looks misfigured, malformed. It looks crazy. It looks like it's some sort of scaled creature kind of just lumbering in the path.
Hey, friend. You look lost.
Holt, you hear the very familiar voice of your friend Gilderoy behind you.
Ah, is that Gilderoy Lightfoot I hear?
Ah,
And
Holt, you son of a bitch. I didn't recognize you with that skin on you.
I could say the same for you. You look a little worse for wear. And Holt will actually turn around, and you see that he has a length of cloth wrapped around one side of his face, and it's just seeping like blood and pus on this side of his face. He clearly hasn't cleaned this wound properly.
Gilderoy kind of like, when he sees him turn around, kind of like, what happened? What happened to your face?
And Holt will lean down, a big toothy grin. Dragon.
Very well, very well. We should probably get you a little better. We can clean you up. We can clean you up, man. And I mean, I'm skilled in medicine, so I don't know if that's something that would be.
Yeah, from the last mission, I know you had that salve, or those herb compotes that could do a little bit of healing.
I'm basically just trying to make sure that this doesn't
Okay,
get
go
out of
ahead and roll
hand.
medicine. Yeah,
All right.
clean it from infections.
Yeah. 13 on the die. 20, not now.
Yeah, so you are easily able to clean the wound and rebandage it with some clean bandages and a little bit of, mud and herbs to kind of ease the pain.
Actually, I have a bunch of anesthetic plants from last time.
Yeah, you can use those if you'd like.
Yeah, I'll give you some anesthetic plants because I was looking for poison and I found anesthetic instead.
That works.
Ah,
Yeah.
thank you, my dear friends. That burned like a son of a bitch.
Yeah. But it's better than when the burning enters your head. So, very well. We have seemed to have taken care of the leader of this organization, so we're going back to the camp.
There was the matter of my things that I left with you, Gilderoy.
But of course. And the entire time I have, out of nowhere, I had acquired this, large knapsack that obviously wasn't mine. So I get to leisurely take that off and give you your things back.
Yeah, it's actually a large pack crafted from what looks to be green lizard skin, and this is actually an heirloom gifted to Holt by his grandfather Holtmere, and he holds this very dear to his heart, so he's very grateful to have this back.
Just as you left it, old friend.
Great. So you guys, newly reunited, lumber along the path to the refugee camp. As you guys are approaching those same guards in front. Oh, Holt! Hey, who goes there?
Simmer down, simmer down.
Oh, shit, it's you guys. You look terrible. Look at these monsters you got with you. Why are you bringing these skins into our camp?
Are we not allowed to take trophies from our quarries?
Sure, I guess you could take trophies. It's just a bit gross.
It will inspire morale in the people, seeing their enemy defeated.
Well, that is true. You might as well go in and get yourselves a little rest and food in your bellies. Make sure you check in with Beatrice.
Righto.
Sylvia actually rolled her skin up and is not displaying it. It's not a trophy. It's the thing she's going to trade for payment.
Okay. So I'm assuming it's kind of, like bear rug style, but it's pretty big. So you're not. Go ahead and roll, some sort of like stealth check, I guess, if you're trying to conceal it from the guards.
I mean, I can roll sleight of hand, but I literally have nothing in my backpack, so.
Yeah, this thing isn't fitting in your backpack. It's a monster.
Meanwhile, Holt is just showing off this big brown, snake skin that he has on his back. He actually kept the head attached, so it's just flopping around on the end of the skin.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you hear me when I'm talking to my mic, though?
I can hear
Hold
you
on.
right now.
Okay.
No, we can't hear you. It's
I've
only
been
like
trying to talk. I was like, Holt, man,
Oh.
you should have seen it. I let a lightning bolt off, and
Oh no! I thought you were a little quiet there, not those.
for
What?
some
A
reason my
lightning
headset's
bolt?
not working.
22.
I let off a couple of them, damn it.
Nice.
Lightning down. I rained it.
I can dig it.
22 to pass this off is not a hide,
Okay.
but just something rolled up. Maybe a bedroll.
Yeah, these guys. Yeah, perfect. These guys are gonna. Oh, they will definitely give you sideways glances, checking it out, but they are not going to question what you have in there. They'll just think oh shit. They'll see maybe a patch of blood soaked at the bottom of it, ugh, what the hell has he got in there? But they won't.
But yeah.
Sorry, what the hell she got in there? But they won't question you. You guys can proceed in. As you are walking in, you kind of are. It's is midday, so most of the refugees are out performing tasks, and the camp is relatively empty. Charles, we can hear some noise coming from you, but we're not actually.
I'm just going to try to go without the headphones.
Yeah, sorry. I think that's best.
I'll just mute myself. Remind me if it gets noisy, because it'll probably be noisy when I forget to mute it.
Okay. Can you see the chat?
Not at the same time, no.
Okay, so yeah, we'll just verbally mention it to you then. Okay, so yeah, you guys have entered the refugee camp and it's mostly empty. Where would you like to go first? What's your priority?
I'll turn to the rest of them and well, I'm headed off to an armorer. Where are the rest of you headed off to?
Well, as soon as I'm all patched up, I need to find some Oak City officials.
Yeah, I've seen some better days. I could use a bed to sleep on.
I'll go talk to that foxy squirrel.
Ultimately, yeah, that's what we should do.
Okay, well, you guys can definitely take a rest. I imagine Beatrice is probably out and about herself, kind of coordinating various defense efforts, making sure that they're starting to plant food to grow so that they can kind of hunker down here for the winter at least. So lots of preparations around this refugee camp are being made. You've noticed that there is a lot less mud and a lot more wooden boardwalk planks that have been kind of expanded throughout the area beyond just the center of the refugee camp where the different head of the camp tents were. So things are starting to look better, and you see some even bare bones of structures going up. So anyway, everyone can get some communal stew and take a long rest before you meet with Beatrice. Holt, you can go find an armorer.
Yeah, basically I'm just trying to find like an armorer or a leather worker, someone that I know is able to work on something of this magnitude, maybe.
Yeah, and so you find a mole who is built a makeshift bellows, and he is, you can see from his wares, he mostly is just doing like nails right now and trying to do some like plows and rakes, and really it's all just kind of farm utensils and carpentry. You see no weapons or armor, but he will kind of turn away from his fire and in his leather smock, wiping his gigantic mole claws, approach you. What can I do for you?
Yes, craftsman. Do you work in leather perchance?
No leather. I don't handle that. You might back there at the Mole City. He's kind of scratching his small head with his gigantic claw. Back there in the Mole City, they have fine leather workers. You can go back there.
Mole City?
Yeah, it's over there, east.
Like just east or like 2 days east? How east?
Oh, at least a week's night.
You sure there isn't anyone here that works in leather?
Sorry, not here.
And Holt will just walk away.
Okay. So, yeah, in this refugee camp, there's no one. You can find lots of like weavers, lots of looms people who are making blankets, and but no people that would have the knowledge specifically for like snake skin armor. You know, they're used to working with different materials, wool and cotton and linens, but they all tell you that the moles, they're definitely the ones who know best how to work with snake skin.
Okay then. Is there? Can I see anyone nearby maybe selling chests or barrels or like large sacks or anything like that?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Okay. I want to walk up to the nearest one and maybe like buy a chest or something, a container of some sort that's large enough to carry this snake skin around it.
Yeah, and there is a portly mouse that has a bunch of different wares, and he has plenty of barrels or canvas sacks, anything that you would like. He deals in distribution and kind of shipping and receiving.
Yes, I would like to buy a canvas sack large enough to carry this snake skin here, if you would.
Oh, look at the size of that thing! Jesus, where did you get that? And what happened to your face?
I got it off the end of my spear, and it spit on my face.
Right. Well, yes, I think I have a sack big enough for this monstrosity. Goodness gracious. And he looks through some different canvas sacks, and he's able to find one for you. I think this will do. Geez, it's the biggest one we have. It'll cost you. What do you have?
What do I have? What are you asking for it?
Well, you know, you got I like nice baked biscuits, chocolate biscuits, or do you have any candied nuts? Oh, I love candied nuts. Do you got any wine or cheese?
You wouldn't happen to be a meat eater, would you?
He kind of licks his lip and he's like, well, I do love a good roast. Sometimes some smoked jerky is quite satisfying. What do you got?
Smoked jerky, you say? I have a pound or two here on my person. If you're interested in that.
Yeah,
Sorry,
what kind of jerky?
Bug.
Okay.
Bug jerky.
He'll go ahead and sniff it. And is this jerky you made?
Maybe.
So I want you to roll like a survival to see like how good this jerky is.
I'm gonna get very angry at Hangouts.
It's a
Yeah.
20, not nat.
Sweet. So this is like, this jerky smells so good, and the rat is just sniffing at your. I imagine you're like kind of holding it a little higher than he can see as you bring it down, and he's just like really eager, and he'll sniff it and look at you and say, "You got a deal," and he'll take it and start like eating it. Yeah, you got your canvas sack.
All right. Yeah, I totally just gave him fox jerky, so have fun with that.
It's okay. He's eaten meat before. He seems to eat anything.
I don't know. All these prudes around here give me shit about it.
They're not all carnivorous, but yeah. So you're able to find a sack fine, and the rest of you guys are able to take your long rest. Holt, you've got plenty of extra time to do whatever it is you need to do. Take rest yourself and lick your wounds.
Yeah, I'll do that. I'm gonna take stock of like everything in my pack just to make sure everything is there. I trust Gilderoy, but you know, I've been away from it for like a couple like less than a week, so.
So
For sure.
in regards to, we got equipment from that monster.
Yeah.
Amulet of proof against detection and location.
Yeah, what was that? The amulet of what?
Proof against detection and location.
Okay. And
So I don't have any intrinsic knowledge of what this thing is yet, though.
Correct.
Right on. So I'm probably like, still fucking with that. Waiting for everyone to kind of get back together.
Go ahead and roll an Arcana check.
Alright. 16.
Okay. You would know that this is a magical item, and that it has something to do with seeing or sight, since it's it's obvious, it's like an eye, but you don't know if it like gives you access to seeing someone or if it prevents you from being seen. You just know that it has something to do with seeing.
Yeah, so like I said, I'm probably just, fucking around with it, trying to figure out what it does.
Great. So,
Are there any Oak City officials at the refugee camp?
Yep, there's basically people on guard who are there. You can talk to. They know things.
But like somebody who might actually have some clout.
I would say that there are probably, so around Beatrice, there's kind of formed up people who take care of different things. There's the leader of the guard who will stay at camp. And then there's also like the lead merchant who takes care of acquisitions of resources, shipping goods, and making sure the refugees are getting food and sustenance. And then there is a head developer who is working on building the infrastructure within the city, or this new refugee camp. So like building roads and stuff like that.
All right, I'm gonna go see the captain of the guard then. I tell him I need to talk to about something important.
Okay, so the captain of the guard is he is a hedgehog who has kind of like golden tipped quills, and he seems like very regal, very athletic, very sharp, and he is carrying a large fang sword that looks like a wolf fang sword, and you can go up to him and he'll say, "Yes, the heroes. What can we do for you?"
We recently returned from finding and killing the one responsible for starting the fire.
Good. You've slain the leader of the Red Fangs, the Marlfox. Beatrice will want to hear of this as soon as she's back. Terrific.
You said, and you believe me just like that?
Why should I not believe you? You are a hero. You stopped the fire from advancing. I do not think you're deceiving me. So, yeah.
She reaches into her bag and pulls out the skin. She unrolls it a little bit, not all the way, but a bit, and says, I brought proof, evidence of her demise. I figured it would be more valuable to you than as something to bury. Something you could display somewhere to let them know that Oak City is not to be trifled with.
Dear Lord, you brought the skin of the she-wolf back? This monstrosity. Yes, I think it would bolster the troops' morale to see it skinned. Perhaps we could splay it out as a banner, or maybe my tent could use a rug.
I think it would be best used as a banner. We should have someone tan it, and then we will paint on the fur the symbol of Oak City.
Yes, that is a capital idea. We shall speak with Beatrice and see who can tan it.
I nod to him and I roll it back up the rest of the way and say, well, then I'll speak with you on the morrow.
He'll grasp your forearm and definitely look into your eyes and just be like, thank you for ridding us of that terrible beast. It was constant fear that we must live in. Perhaps now we can start anew in this place and seek for some peace.
Peace is what all true heroes strive for.
He'll just kind of nod in agreement, and you can part ways. And
she leaves
definitely. Yeah, and you know that this guy has respect for you, and you can tell by the orders that he's giving to troops as you're walking away that his troops also have great respect for him.
Right, and that's it. I'll just go sleep until, I don't feel like I'm dying.
Yeah. Nethouse, is there anything you wanted to do?
Not really. I'll just hang out with them, stay busy.
Cool. So, after... Okay, what's up, Gilderoy?
All right, so Gilderoy, he got pretty fucked up in that last encounter, and he's been trying to maintain his composure in front of his companions. But as soon as everyone kind of like parts ways in the city, I like hobbled immediately to bed and like bandaged myself up, applied some poultices, you know, and I'm asleep. I am dead asleep for like 2 days. I didn't tell anybody where I was going. I went to bed. So I'm on the dawn of the second day.
So you're at the dawn of the next day. Beatrice will return that late evening before, and the three of you, Nethouse, Sylvia, and Holt, will find each other and realize that Gilderoy is not with you when it's time to meet Beatrice.
Oh well, where's our hair friend?
He knew what time he was supposed to be here. If he's late, that's his problem.
Fair enough.
Nethouse, what do you think? Charles, you're muted.
Sorry, I had to walk away for a minute.
Oh, no
What
problem.
was the question?
So you guys it's the evening. You guys are just about ready to meet Beatrice. Holt and Sylvia are there, but Gilderoy is not. And Holt was like, "Where's Gilderoy?" And Sylvia's like, "Who gives a fuck?"
No, he's late. That's his problem.
In the distance, you hear,
Right.
"True."
I go look for him.
Okay, you're gonna go look for him. Sure, go ahead and
Yep.
roll investigation.
I rolled a 1.
Oh man! So you're thinking, where would this rabbit be? Or
I'm
sorry,
like,
where would this hare
just
be?
walking around lost.
Yeah, exactly. You're thinking, oh, what would I do? I'm a druid, so I would be out frolicking in the forest, talking to critters and fondling ferns. So you're out there just like looking for Gilderoy, and you do not find him. And I assume Holt and Sylvia waited for you.
Nope.
I mean, if we're supposed to meet Beatrice at a certain time, and like neither neither Nethouse or Gilderoy are back, I'm just like, let's cut and run. Let's just go ahead on in there. We're supposed to be meeting with her.
With Beatrice, you can come in towards the later half of the conversation. We can't hear you.
Who can come in the later half?
Yeah, you can come in the later half of the conversation.
Okay, just tell me when it's that frame.
Okay. So Sylvia and Holt, you guys kind of look at each other and shrug and then head off towards Beatrice's tent. And as you enter, it's nice and warm as the fire's crackling. And she says, she looks up, she's kind of poring over these drawn out plans of the refugee camp and different defenses and different lists and numbers and resources, like all of this, just piles of paper that she's kind of pouring over with just candlelight. And she looks up at you guys, and she looks tired, but there's still like a crackle in her eye that you know she's got this handled, but she's definitely kind of stressed and strained to her limits. And she'll look up at you guys. Ah, yes. What can I do for you?
The Marlfox has been slain.
Fantastic! You got the beast that started this conflagration.
Yes, and I've brought back her pelt so you can make banners out of it to display to all of your enemies that you're not to be trifled with.
Yes, that's just what we needed. We know the Marlfox was working with Volmer and the Rat Army, so we're happy that you've slain it.
Speaking of the Rat Army, I think it is time we take care of them as well.
You cannot take care of the Rat Army, even with Holt returned. And she'll kind of look at you and say, welcome, Holt.
I killed a dragon.
You killed a dragon?
And that's when I'll just chuck the big canvas bag onto the table, and like the head of the dragon will flop out of the mouth of the bag. The head of the big rattlesnake.
Single-handedly. The power of the Badgers is unrelenting. But with your return, I fear that war is also upon us. Tell me, what are we to do with your hide, your victory, Holt?
I've been told that the place to go to get this turned into armor is Mole City.
Ah, Mole City. Yes, that is where we would need to get Marlfox's hide tanned also. The moles are the best leather workers and tanners in all the lands.
Well, isn't that fortuitous?
You know, now that you bring up Mole City, she's kind of like rummaging through her papers. And as she's rummaging through her papers, Nethaus comes through the tent, kind of like out of breath. Ah, Nethaus.
What did I miss, guys?
Nothing important. If you wanted to know, you should have been here on time.
Oh yeah, I see you did a real good job of finding him too.
I found who I came here to find. She gestures at
Your mom? Your mom's here?
My mother's been dead. I was born. Thank you for that.
Shit.
If I had a heart, that would have hurt. Ha ha.
You're truly a despicable person.
This is certainly not heroic of you, as Beatrice will kind of like chastise you guys. Please, come, look at this. As you are speaking of Mole City, end of Volmer, you know, we are due for the arrival of many goods from Mole City that have not come. We fear that Volmer and his rat army are to blame, and they are stealing our resources. Our guards are stretched thin, creating defensive barriers around the refugee camp in case the inevitable incursion from Volmer occurs. I was wondering if you guys could potentially meet with the Mole City consort at Redborough so that we can bring back the goods that they are providing. And you guys will have a chance to exchange the hides with them to be made into armor and banners.
It seems our goals are intertwined.
For now, I am glad of our fates. However, I do fear what your presence brings, Badger. I am glad you are with us. And as long as you are continued to be with us, we will make sure you have a place at our tables. Please, take what resources you need and go and meet the moles at Redborough. Bring back the caravan of goods, and you will have forever a place at our table.
You have shown me no reason to be not on your side. I shall not take any supplies from you. Just today I had to trade for this canvas bag in exchange for food. I don't think that's right. We shall do this thing for you. But I expect nothing in return.
So she'll kind of nod and say, "You're a righteous badger." And then she'll look over to you, Sylvia, and she'll say, "We've also gotten word that your friend Edward was taken by Volmer and his rat army. He's been seen with the other slaves of the army, performing manual labor, but we dare not enter their camp. They're far too powerful for us."
Which matters more pressing?
Of course, the resources from Redborough. Your friend is, forgive me, your problem.
Well, forgive me if I say he is likewise heroic and deserves better than that. However, he is also not my friend.
Okay, we will no longer exhaust our resources finding his whereabouts. But that is all we know. Here's a map to Redborough. This is where you will meet the moles. And she hands over a kind of roughly drawn map that just shows some path back east, a little southeast from the refugee camp, where there's Redborough, which is about halfway between the refugee camp and Mole City, and it looks to be about 2 days march.
And where was Edward last seen?
Edward was last seen on the path back to the refugee camp from directly south, where you guys went to the town of Willow.
I see. Sylvia will look at Holt to see if he's ready to leave.
I'm ready whenever you are. Tell me, the girl, is it Edward's?
The child, Anloff? No, of course not. Edward was not here for the child to be conceived by him. We do not know who the father is, but Enloff is in good hands now.
Anloft, you say?
Yes,
I'll remember
that's
that.
what they called her, at least.
I'll remember that.
I'm sure she will remember the brave heroes who saved her life also. Okay, so you guys can go ahead and she'll just kind of go back to shifting through papers, going over numbers, looking at where resources are coming from, and you guys can head out back to bed looking for Gilderoy.
When they step outside, Sylvia's going to grab Holt's attention.
Yes.
A dying woman's last wish was for us to find Edward. He fought on the way here, and he did what he could to save that city. It's not right. I'm going after him.
No, it's not right. But it's not right to leave this entire camp without food either. It's a conundrum that we have to decide upon.
Well, rescuing someone who was enslaved will deal a blow to them because we can rescue multiple slaves, and then the Rat Army will have fewer laborers. And also, I strongly believe it's the right thing to do.
That is true, but you have to remember we are expected at Redborough within the next 2 days. How does that make us look if we do not show up?
Like people who do the right thing.
They won't see it that way.
Well, if we have to do everything that they tell us without any opinion of our own, then we too are slaves.
I'm simply weighing the options here. I want to save Edward just as badly as you do. But I also want to make sure that this camp is well taken care of. I had a shopkeeper this very morning snatch food out of my hand that I offered to him out of starvation. Now that's hard to witness.
Nethouse? What? Sorry. What does Nethouse think of this? As the Sylvia and Holt are just kind of arguing almost above him since he's so small compared to them.
My friends, as much as it's one of our compatriots we want to help, the reality is we do more good in the overall scheme of things by helping these people get fed. The needs of the many over the needs of the few.
And there are many slaves as well.
Those slaves will still be alive, whether we go and help them or not. Slaves are only useful if they're alive.
Fine. But as soon as we return, whether or not you come with me,
I promise to you, as soon as we return, that is when we go save Edward.
Sylvia is going to turn around, return into the tent, and tell... I keep forgetting her name. What's
Beatrice.
Beatrice, yeah. She's going to tell Beatrice to... if if Sylvia is going to agree to help get them food, she wants to know where Edward is when she gets back.
Beatrice, you see a smile just kind of spread across Beatrice's face, and she kind of chuckles. Yes, we will make sure that we continue to track your not friends' whereabouts and let you be aware of them, Sylvia.
Sylvia kind of frowns and crosses her arm, not liking that she feels like she might have just been duped, but she just turns around and leaves because she's got no good retort.
Fantastic. You guys are able to go back to a very nice tent that's warm as well, with a crackling fire, bread and cheese and butter available on the table. And you see, actually, at that table, asleep with a piece of bread in hand and a half-chewed piece of bread in mouth, Gilderoy.
Cassie can't hold his liquor.
I kind of lazily like roll over, see you guys as you approach or sit down, and like I'm laying in drool. I have food in one hand. I don't really remember getting here or getting food, so I'm confused.
Gilderoy,
And,
quick! We're late for a meeting with Beatrice.
and scramble, fall backwards off the stool.
Quick,
Like,
go,
flat
go,
on
go!
my
We gotta
back.
go meet her.
And it's like you can see that my I'm kind of pale right now. If I could be pale, I have fur, so I don't really know. I don't look too
Your
hot.
whiskers are drooping.
Yeah. Okay. There we go. Yeah, I'm not looking too hot. I mean, mechanically speaking, I'm back to full health, but the journey on top of the fight was pretty rough for me. The meeting. I have a headache. I don't want to go to a meeting.
Well, the good news is you don't have to because you missed it.
Oh, perfect. I'm kind of like, stretching and like getting up off the ground. Well, what did she say? What's next on our agenda for helping the people?
We're to find out what happened to the supply line here from Redborough.
Redborough. What's in Redborough? The supply line, obviously, but who are we meeting
Moles.
with? And you see kind of like a daze go over. Not a daze, maybe like like the faraway gaze go over Gilderoy's face, and he kind of snaps to you. Moles. Okay, right. When do we leave?
Tomorrow.
Excellent. And like I'll sit back down and like belly back up to my half-eaten plate of food. Anything else? Did she tell you anything else?
Edward's been captured, but I suppose we'll have to save him later.
So, who had the badger list? Was someone holding on to it?
It was either, I'm not sure which one of you three had it.
Well, nonetheless, we'll look to Holt Holt, this may be a dumb question, but can you read Badger?
Can you read hair?
Like I said, you may consider it a dumb question, but it's worth asking.
Yes, I can read, Badger. I may be some bumpkin from the north, but I can read.
All right, well, we learn more about each other every day. That's why we're such good friends, Holt. Really. So we found this with the Marlfox. We were hoping you could maybe translate it for us.
Certainly. All right, I'll hold the list up to me.
So, Holt, it looks to you just like a list of names. You're not really sure why this list of names, but you can read all of the list. And at the top of the list, it starts with Nekonicum. And you are not really aware of who that is. And then you see Marlfox. And then you see Volmer. And then you see Oswego. And then you see Anlaf. And then you see Heartlanders. And then you see Edward. And you're the only one who can read that list.
Well, would you have been able to read it aloud?
No,
Yeah,
I haven't.
for sure.
I haven't read it out loud. I'm just looking at it.
Well, go on. What's it say?
Well, it's a list of names. I'm trying to discern any meaning to them. I recognize 4 of these names, maybe 5. Oswego. That sounds familiar.
When you say Oswego, Nethaus, go ahead and roll history.
Oswego, isn't that a type of cheese?
18.
I live near Lake Oswego, so I use that name. But
I got 18.
okay, so oh no, he just dropped. No. we'll get
He rolls that 18, then he's out.
drop the mic. So we'll just wait a second for him to be back because he's usually right back.
Well, in that case, I'll just read out the whole list. There's Nekonicum, Marlfox, Volmer, Oswego, Anloft. Wait. Anloft, the girl, Heartlanders, and then Edward.
Yeah,
Would I-
okay. So Charles is back. So Charles, with an 18 on history, you know that Oswego is the name of a creature that is supposed to bring back the balance of nature. It's been foretold for many years in the Druidic kind of stories that nature will once again triumph over civilization, and that this triumph will be brought on by Oswego, the firebird.
You guys may not like this, and then I relay that to them.
Yes, and Oswego is the firebird born from the flame.
What is Nekonicum? Does that sound familiar to anyone?
So back when let's see. Everyone here can roll history. Yes.
I got an 18 on the die, and I have no modifier.
I got a 19.
Well, aren't you just special and handsome?
I got an 8.
Okay, so basically, you guys have heard of Niconicum. You're not exactly sure. Like, a couple of you are like, I think it's this, and then you're like, wait, I remember that, but maybe it was actually this. And so, as far as you guys are aware, Niconicum doesn't seem to. You're surprised to see it on this list because you didn't think it was like a real name or real person, but you know that there is some order of Niconicum, you know, is like tied to Fae. You're not sure exactly where or what, but all you remember is maybe there was some sort of evil Fae.
Okay, so we have an evil Fae, we have the Marlfox, Volmer, the Firebird Oswego, the girl Anloth, Heartlanders, and Edward.
Sylvia, I want you. You're a rogue, right?
That's me. I
Okay.
even have I have an underground network of spies for my background, even.
So you have proficiency with a forgery kit?
Nope.
No. Does anyone here have proficiency with forgery?
Nope.
No.
I
I'm proficient with bagpipes.
Okay.
I'm an expert in investigation.
Okay. So roll an investigation for this list.
21.
Okay. So you can tell that there looks to be something else. Like the way that the names are positioned on the list is kind of like skewed left. It's not centered. And then also you can swear you see maybe a glimmer or a sheen of some sort of potentially invisible ink on this paper.
Well, considering that I'm very roguey and I've done spy work before, I'm gonna say, does my character know how to make invisible ink visible?
If you know that it requires a forgery kit to kind of that would have the or some sort of tool set. Do you have any tools that would?
I've got thieves'
You know
tools.
what?
I can go find a
So
forgery
thieves'
kit,
tools-
though.
Yes, you would know what it requires to view this, but you know that you don't have the equipment.
Yeah, I'm gonna go see if I can't find a member of my underground network of spies, and see if I can't find out a way to get one.
Okay,
Soon.
so are you going to disclose any of this information to your compatriots?
What I'm going to say is, I think that there is more to this message, but in order to find out, I'm going to need to do some secret spy stuff. Basically, I think there's a hidden message in here. Stuff that we've used before.
Does anyone else want to inspect it and see and give me a case that you might know what it is?
Yeah, I'll try, because here's the problem. John knows how to make invisible ink visible, but the question is, does Holt?
Holt probably doesn't, so I'll say you can roll whatever you're going to roll with disadvantage.
Okay, how about nature? Because, you know, it's
Yes,
based off of
nature.
probably oils from plants. Yeah.
Nature will absolutely work.
At disadvantage?
Yes, at disadvantage.
If I help him, does that mean he gets a regular roll?
Nope.
Oh.
It was just a 4.
Yeah, you think for a fleeting second, oh, this could be some. Oh, no, it's not that. Anyone else?
Yeah, I got a way to try to bullshit my way through this one. I want to use my nature check, but I want to use it because sometimes the druids, when communicating with other tribes, you do this.
Yes, okay. Give me a nature check.
Crap. 13.
Okay, so you basically know that, yes, the druids can communicate with invisible writing, and it can only be visible by moonlight when it's exposed to heat. But it sounds like Sylvia knows how to get this exposed as well, so you kind of are, you're not 100%, you know. You really feel like Sylvia knows what she's doing and has it covered.
Yeah, but I'm a show off. Oh, wait, I'm sorry.
Yeah, do with that what you will.
Is it nighttime now?
It is.
Wait, I thought it was morning.
It's at the evening after you guys met Beatrice, and then you went and woke up Gilderoy.
Oh, so we took a nap, and then we met her, and then we woke up?
Exactly. You basically slept during the day.
Yeah, I can't resist it. I'm going to ask to see the paper, and then when I take it, I'm going to go to the campfire and see if I can see the writing.
Okay, so there you can step outside of the tent and kind of hold the paper close to a torch, still in the moonlight, and you guys kind of see Nethaus get this smirk as he just grabs the paper real quick and runs outside, and you see him hold it up really close to this flame.
Easy, Neth House. Don't throw it in the fire. We need it.
Yeah, what the hell are you doing?
And Nethaus, as you do that, you
Just
see
hold on a second.
more Badger script appear next to the regular script.
Okay, come here. Look, see, this is invisible. If you use the fire in the moonlight, it makes it come out.
Holt is by now like mows it on over, and he's gonna look over. Like he actually has to crouch down and look over Nethaus's shoulder, but he's gonna look up at the Badger script.
And you're kind of crouching down and peering up, and you see next to the name Niconicum the word wine. And next to Marlfox, you see the word bread. And next to Volmer, you see the word apples. And next to Oswego, you see the name beer. Or, sorry, you see the word beer. Next to Anloff, you see the word cake. Next to Heartlanders, you see the word mushrooms. And next to Edward, you see the word potatoes.
Sounds like code. I know thieves can't. Does this sound thievy canty to me?
You know that it's basically, yes, a cipher. This is the way that the paper is folded and been refolded, and the age of the ink. This is definitely something that someone has kept for a while and can only be used as a cipher.
Well, all right. Can I, like, can I tell how it was folded? Like, maybe if you fold a certain way, the words show up differently?
The folds just kind of indicate the use of it. It's well used.
I see. I see. And I'm gonna write on my own piece of paper the words so that in the future, if we run across notes that are encrypted, I can decrypt them.
Yeah, great. You guys can kind of take notes and get that. And you don't really, you guys kind of all ponder on it, and you don't have any clue of what this cipher can be used for. So you kind of just agree to tuck it in for the night. And
just to make sure it's not druidic, is it?
It's not druidic, but they do use the same methods that the druids used. And so you're kind of like, you know, wow. So there's some, the person who conceived of this at least has some sort of knowledge of this type of stuff. So you're not sure. And yeah, I guess you guys can tuck in for the night and get an early morning start off to Redborough if you'd like.
The Holt ponders over this as he drifts off to sleep. They're druidic, and they know Badger script, and he just keeps like running that over and over in his head as he drifts off to sleep.
And in the slumber, Holt, you are met with visions, as is often the case for badgers. They are kind of known as prophesiers and drawn towards certain places, especially in the times of war. And you see visions of Volmer, the rat army leader, pillaging. You see him cutting across vast swaths of forest with fire at his back, building a great rat kingdom, and eventually conquering the heartland into the northern outlands. These visions haunt you, and you just see Volmer as almost superior, not superior to you, but you see him as a true warrior, a true test, and you know that he is the bringer of war that has brought you here. And Badger lore has many badgers falling on both sides of the war. You know, basically a war occurs and sometimes the badgers choose to fight against the provokers of the war, and sometimes the Badgers choose to fight with the provokers of the war. And so they're always granted the vision of the provokers and kind of get to decide where their heart will land them.
I've never been one to choose the losing side.
Perfect. And so the rest of you guys will have a relatively good night's sleep with warm food in your bellies. And we will go ahead and take a quick break here before you guys head out to Redborough in the morning. Okay, so 5-10 minutes. See you guys back soon. Great RP. Thanks for coming back, Holt.
What?
Everyone back. I guess Jonathan's not yet.
Did you ask if I was here?
I think we are all here. Charles is here.
Yeah, Charles is here. Cool. So
I'm always here.
Great. So during the break, I thought it would be cooler. Actually, each of you guys will have a dream. So, Holt, that was your vision.
I actually wrote up a dream, ironically enough. So
Good. We will let you do yours last. Is that okay?
yeah, it's fine.
Cool. So, Sylvia, you're dreaming and you are having visions of Edward as a slave being whipped, with visions of white roses surrounding him. And, you basically just feel his agony, and, he's whispering, "Find the white rose, find the white rose." And Nethouse.
Does this have any meaning to me?
Probably not. I mean, Edward has meaning to you, but that's it. That's all you know. Nothing else, really. The white rose, you don't know what that is at all. And then Nethouse, during your slumber, you are having visions of Oswego, the firebird, just flying across vast stretches of forest, burning it all down. The sheer power and terror that he causes as he transforms the land around him to suit his needs. And he's a very, very powerful force of nature that is not easily reckoned with.
Okay, I just want to throw this odd coincidence out. I don't know if you guys remember me talking about it, but I was working at a coin mint at a Renaissance festival.
Yeah.
The coin I got is a phoenix and a green man.
Ooh, nice. Perfect.
Which green man would be a good druid, and then the phoenix, of course, yeah.
Yes. So, Baron, why don't you reveal what Gilderoy's dream was?
So, this dream was actually like separated over the course of like the day that he was unconscious, kind of like a feverish nightmare. It kept starting with him like looking at that amulet, trying to like figure out what it was, and the landscape changes and everything fades to black, but there's a light shining in front of him. And he can't make out what this light is at first, so he approaches, and what it seems like an eternity of walking, he comes upon this figure that is bathed in light, and it's a ferret, and she he doesn't know why. He just kind of instinctually knows it's a female ferret. She's like her fur is golden with like white strands here. I don't know, strands here and there. And she's dressed in like a very similar garb to himself, but a lot more fancy and ornate, with like gold clasps and like tassels and shit. And in one hand she's got this like magnificent spear, and in the other she's got a shield. And she speaks to him without like actually talking. It's all in his head. And she talks of death and cold and misery and darkness. But she also, mentioning all these things, that kind of like foreshadows the evils to come should, this party not do anything. And she sees, Edward in shackles and the Firebird, or what, maybe even like this shadowed figure outlaying on the border of this kind of like visual that could be recognized as that first name that I do not recall.
Necronomicon, yes, you're the only one who has the visions of the blurred black figure that you can't really make out because you dare not look directly on it. It's just an absence of everything, and you fear if you look on it, you're just going to be sucked into nothing. So, but you can tell it's like hovering at the fringe of your dreams.
And like maybe that's where like I'm like frantically kind of like rubbing on this amulet as like a cope. And the soothing voice of this light figure tells me to remain calm, remember the ways of the monastery, help people. And like this has been like separated over like the course of me waking up and going to sleep, so it's felt like a journey in itself.
Yes, and you're the first to awaken in the pale blue of dawn.
Yeah, I'll go downstairs, and the first thing I always do is kind of like wrap my my scarf around my face and neck, just so that I'm not a recognizable face. I'm supposed to just maintain my position as a monk rather than be a personality, I guess, in my mind at least. So I go down, order something modest food wise, and maybe like catch up some meditation or some shit.
Yes, you can go down and order some broccoli and cheese quiche.
Definitely have to ponder this dream further through quiet reflection.
Yes, and Holt, you're the second to awaken.
Holt gets up out of bed and just sits there for a moment, pondering the dream that he just had. And his mind flashes back to those images that he saw of this Volmir character sweeping over his homelands. And he sits there and decides that Volmir needs to be crushed. And then he'll go and join Gilderoy at the table.
Great. Sylvia?
Well, Sylvia wakes up and she feels like she already knows, they're not going to be willing to go save Edward right now, but it hurts, because she knows this is the right thing to do, but everyone else seems to be so sure that doing the other thing first is the right thing to do, and she feels like that's wrong. But, she already said she was going to go with them, so she can't not do it, because she already said she would, and that would be breaking her word, and that's just something she doesn't do. So instead, she's not going to eat with the rest of them because she wants to go forage for her own food. But she's first going to go and see Beatrice and ask her if she knows anything about the White Rose. White Rose, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I imagine you are actually, even though Gilderoy and Holt are the first at the table, you were actually up before either of them, already out walking around briskly at dawn, as you frequently do. And you can see your breath in front of you, and you're walking towards Beatrice, and you see a robed mouse with an embroidered white rose on his sleeve, kind of taking out a bucket and pouring it out in the street. And it looks to be, it's a rather large tent, and it looks to be a church that he is coming out of.
She spies on him. Straight up, she's just going to watch him for a while.
Okay, go ahead and roll stealth.
Sure thing. 15 and a million makes 22.
Okay, yeah. So you're able to see him fine, and he's just basically, you can see inside the tent because he opens the doors and he's doing chores. He's getting ready for people to come to the church for the morning services.
All right, she's going to go to the morning services.
Okay, so that will be after breakfast. So Nethouse.
What kind of is this a Fae worshipping church, or is this like a hero?
This is
church?
A hero worshipping church. It's a church where they idolize a mouse, and it's basically a mouse, the first mouse, but also every hero mouse reincarnated, and they feel like soon this mouse will be reincarnated and take them to the promised lands so that they never have to fear the wrath of nature again.
So I've most definitely heard of it then.
Yes, absolutely. But that's basically what you're going to learn, Sylvia, during the session. But before you're able to get back to these guys, Nethouse is going to wake up. Charles, you're muted.
I wake up do I notice that people are gone?
Yeah, you're the last one awake. But yeah, you know, I mean, you can smell food, so waking up and it's still early, and you know they're around.
Okay, I'll head down and get something to eat.
Yeah, you'd see us at the table.
Exactly. Yeah, and I'm sure that Holt is probably munching on some like turkey leg or something, which is the only meat they'll really serve around here. And
You probably would like overhear Holt and I conversing. I'm trying to convince him to teach me how to read Badger.
Nice.
Well, it's quite easy. It's not that very far from your own script for hair. Well, you see, these letters mean, and I'm just drawing the script in grease on the table, and then I see Nethouse coming, and I say, our druidic friend. Well, I suppose I can go ahead and say this. I'm sure Sylvia will agree with me once she returns, but damn it, I think we need to go save Edward first.
As I come up, I kind of, I instead of hitting them in the back, I'm gonna go for the kind of more of the ribs, and be like, "Hey guys, what's going on?" and kind of touch both of them in the ribs, playful a little bit.
You're in a chipper mood.
I kind of wince in pain as like that is probably one of the locations where I'm bandaged up. Morning, Nethouse.
What's wrong, man?
Nothing. It's all good. And I'll regain my composure. I know you and Sylvia both believe we should go find Edward, and I do too. These people won't make it without food. You know that, and I know that.
And I don't doubt that. But I had a vision the night previously. And if you know anything about Badger culture, we don't take visions lightly.
And
I saw... Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I'm kind of like, visions, you say? You know, downplaying the whole situation kind of to, you know, keep it the focus on you. I didn't have a vision.
Yeah. Yeah. I saw Volmir spreading all across this land and my own land. He's amassing an enormous army. And this is the moment where we need to strike, and we need to strike hard. We need to crush our enemies, see them driven before us, and hear the lamentations of their women. This is what needs to be done.
How long of a trip is it to get to where we believe Edward to be?
You guys don't really know where Edward is. You know that he's been seen as a slave with the rat army, but they are basically spreading out from the southeast of this refugee camp and also kind of east and north. And so they've cut off the supply line between the refugee camp and the mole city. So you know that they're at least there.
So by
they
like
were
establishing this trade route, we would eventually come into contact with Volmer.
Exactly.
And that is what we were doing by going to Redborough.
Yes, by Redborough, you're going to escort the caravan because several caravans have been plundered by the rat army on their way to the refugee camp.
Well, gentlemen, I believe that if we do one, the other will come shortly thereafter.
And as you guys are discussing this, Sylvia walks back in and sees you all at the table.
She's just gonna walk in and say, guys, I know we discussed this before, but I really think we need to... Wait, no, I'm going to church.
Yeah, sorry. When Baron was asking if he knew about the White Rose, and I told him about that, basically that's what you would have learned at the procession.
I mean, I'm going to try and talk to the guy after church.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, you can approach the guy who was giving the sermon and, preaching basically goodwill, but a very anti-nature kind of view, and saying that the first mouse will be resurrected and lead everyone to the promised land.
Is that the one with the rose?
Yep.
She's going to go up to him and say, "I need to speak with you."
Okay.
And that's what he says. He just says, "Okay."
Sorry.
Yeah, all right. What do you want?
I was reading a message from Charles. I'm sorry. Yes, my child. What is it?
She just kind of, she frowns and says, "You wear a white rose. A friend of mine told me that I need to find you, but he spoke to me through a vision, and I do not know what it's about."
Yes. The progenitors speak to many of us through visions. They are quite common, and you should be happy to have been blessed with such visions. Tell me, what are your visions?
My visions are, I know someone who's been enslaved, and I see him suffering.
Yes,
Him being
slavery
abused.
is suffering.
I see him being abused needlessly. He's working, and they attack him anyways. That's what I see.
It is safe to say that we all have seen something in some shape or form or another. All I'm saying is that I don't.
I'm talking to a priest.
Well,
Yeah, sorry. He's not back at the table yet. He's talking to the preacher guy. So yes, you must avoid suffering. Prevent it if you can.
I say, if I have a vision that tells me to do something, but someone else tells me to do something different, should I do what my vision tells me?
Visions work in mysterious ways. You must always do what you think is right, and sometimes your visions will come whether you think you are doing the things to manifest them or not.
I see. Well, thank you. I need to go and speak with some others. Now she'll even go meet up with the dudes.
Of course, my child. And you can walk in and meet up with the guys.
All right, and now she's gonna walk and say, "I know that we spoke about going to the shipment first, but I don't think I can do that. I had a vision. It told me that I needed to seek out religious advice, and the advice I got was to go and rescue Edward." It was very... I didn't say anything directly to him, but the conversation, it led me to... I know what I have to do. I have to go save Edward.
Sylvia, I understand. I want so much to be able to do that first as well. But we don't know where he is.
We know where he was last seen.
We know where he was last seen, but that's not where he is. Through osmosis, by doing this for the camp, we would get that much closer to saving Edward.
I don't
we'll
think
let
that
the
what
network of
means what you
spies.
think it means.
We can let Beatrice hook us up with the good intel when we get back, and we'll have supplies. We'll be able to reinforce ourselves here. He's got an army, and we're 5 dudes.
Well, if we know where he was, I can find him. If we go to where he was, I'm an excellent tracker. This is what I do for a living.
People that aren't afraid to die are the ones that die first. We need to get these people food.
Man, I do not know what to do. This is not convincing Sylvia at all.
The way I see it, we have to go that way either way. So, passing through Redborough to get to Edward would
Yeah,
solve both problems.
you know that the rat army led by Volmer is for sure interfering with the supply route from Mole City. And so, as an expert tracker, you probably know that, that's where you need to go if that's where they've been the most active recently.
All right, well, yeah, I guess that's what she's gonna do then.
So you guys head out to Redborough, southeast of the refugee camp, and you guys are making your way, and the first day there's really no problem. You don't see anything. There's no trace of any rat army. There's no trace of anyone who's been through here for a while. And that's why you're headed there, because the supply route hasn't come for a while. And so the first day and the first night go relatively unassuming. You're able to forage for food and make your way through the day and night, no problem. The next day, as you are traveling along the path, Nethaus, I want you to roll a
an 8.
Okay, so you are just kind of like picking through the scraps of the breakfast as you guys are walking. They left you to kind of clean the pans, and so you're just, scraping out everything and just kind of eating, and you don't notice too much. So you guys continue traveling through the early morning without any disturbance. I want all of you now to roll a perception check.
Oh my god, a 1.
You are just
Nat
not on your
20.
game.
Yeah.
I'll see, there's where all my luck went.
7.
Got a total of 28. No, 27.
Okay, so Holt and Sylvia, you guys hear in the far distance the screeching of an eagle.
I hit the ground and start digging. Eagles are giant evil death, right?
Yes.
Yeah, start
And
digging.
Eagles are no bueno.
with that screech, you hear some weird sort of crackling also. Yeah. So Sylvia, you start digging immediately. Holt, what do you do?
I hear this and I just signal to Nethaus and Gilderoy, watch the skies, and I pull out a javelin and just ready it, pointed towards the sky, just like scanning around.
don't see anything quite yet. And Nethaus and Gilderoy, you hear Holt scream, "Watch the skies," and see Sylvia immediately start burrowing.
I would probably like
What do
get
you do?
in like the shadow of a tree or like a boulder or something and ready my sling. Just set the stone and kind of, keep my eyes on the sky, see if I can see anything, kind of paying attention to where Holt is looking because he heard it and I didn't.
And you also are not see anything quite yet. Nethaus, what do you do? Muted.
I'm just going to move into the woods a little bit and try to see what's going on. Get a little cover, but still kind of.
Okay, so Nethaus is taking cover. Sylvia is taking cover. Gilderoy and Holt, you are scanning the skies looking. Is that correct? Okay, so Sylvia and Nethaus, you guys are able to take cover, and Gilderoy and Holt, you guys see coming right into the field of vision an eagle with flames kind of flickering off of its wings, and it's just screeching and breathing fire out of its beak.
So from what we can tell, it's supposed to be on fire.
Yes, yes.
So this thing isn't like frantically flying on fire.
No, it is breathing fire, controlling fire, manipulating it in its wake.
Probably like mutter under my breath, Oswego.
Exactly.
Maybe signal over to Holt. Come on, we cannot fight. We cannot fight a god.
I don't believe in this god. And I'll just keep my javelin ready if it comes to attack us. But if it's just going to keep flying, I'm just going to like back away slowly and join Gilderoy up under his tree, but still keeping my javelin trained on this thing.
Okay, I need Gilderoy, Nethaus, and Sylvia all to roll stealth. And Gilderoy, you will be rolling at disadvantage because you just have Holt kind of lumbering over towards where you're trying to hide. Sylvia, you will get advantage because you're burrowing. Well, no, actually, because I feel like your burrow would be visible to an eagle pretty easily. Like, that is their prey. They know burrows.
I actually rolled a natural 20, so it doesn't matter.
Well, damn, there you go.
So there I go. I'm sneaky as fuck.
Sneaky as fuck.
I got a 13.
Yeah, I got a 14.
Okay. And Oswego, breathing fire, turns its eye right to, as it cocks its head, not with its beak towards you, but its eye towards you, and looks right at the three of you, and then quickly swings, just like pivots, and comes straight diving towards you. Everybody roll initiative.
As soon as it comes into range, I want to chuck my javelin at it.
Okay.
As soon as it comes into range.
Yeah.
That's an 11.
Got an 8.
Okay.
I
I got 5.
I got 13.
Okay. So, Sylvia, you do not know what's going on. You're just burrowing, and you hear the eagle screeching.
Yeah, I'm just making my burrow big. I'm trying to make my burrow big enough now that I think Holt could get inside of it.
You can make one for every round. You can make a spot big enough for one more person. So right now, you're like you're dug, and you have a den that's big enough for you, and you can spend your round to make it big enough for 2 people.
All right. Keep in mind, I can dash as a bonus action and move. So
Okay.
I can do
Yeah.
a lot of digging.
Okay. So yeah, I think that even with that, like, to make it that deep and that big enough for everyone, that's about what the rate it would be, 1 person per round.
All right. Then that's what she's focused on, unless someone calls for her to do something else.
Okay. And Holt, what will you do?
Oh, am I up already?
You had an 11, right?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, cool. Is it in range yet for one of my javelins?
It is not. It is coming towards you.
Okay, yes, I'm just going to read.
Because what's the range of your javelin?
Let's see. The range of a javelin is 120 feet. That's the max range.
Okay, then yes, it is within the range, the max range. What's the non-disadvantage range?
Oh, is 30 feet.
Okay, so yeah, you're going to be at disadvantage, but yes, it is within far range.
Okay. Well, as a bonus action, I'm going to go into a rage, so I can gain advantage on that. So I'm just going to do a straight roll.
Cool.
That's an 8.
And your javelin soars, and it easily just whoosh, swings right out of the way of it. So go ahead, Gilderoy.
Gilderoy is panicking. He's had some encounters with large avian creatures before in the mountains where his monastery was. So the cry alone is enough to make him on edge. But seeing that it's flying towards him and his party, he's probably like trying to pull on Holt with no real avail to that, since he's deranged and 6 times my size. But I'm kind of, just like pulling on him, like, come on, you big oaf, he's much too big for the likes of us. Probably what I'll spend my action doing.
Okay, yeah, so you can move if you want.
I'm trying to get Holt to come too. I suppose if this thing gets much closer, I'll bail. But
okay, it's gonna be within range really soon.
I'm gonna Holt. I can only hope that Holt has my back then.
All right, cool. So this eagle is screeching towards you guys, and it is kind of swinging in and out over the trees. And as it screeches towards you, it's going to breathe fire down upon the 3 who are not in the burrow. And everybody make a dexterity check. DC 17. Dexterity saving throw.
I get advantage on that because I'm a barbarian. I get advantage on dex saves.
Great.
Wait, is it a check or a save?
It's a save.
Okay. That is going to be a 17.
I've rolled 8 like my last 6 rolls, so I got a 14 again.
And Nethouse?
Oh, I'm not. Okay, I didn't realize I was involved in that.
Yeah, sorry, you're above. You were spotted.
18.
18. So, Gilderoy, you are going to take 32 damage, and Holt and Charles, you are going to take 16. Holt in this house.
I just got smacked.
And this creature is flying, swooping in, and then quickly flying away. And Sylvia, you hear just a roar and don't feel any heat, but you hear fire being breathed up there. And Nethouse, it's your turn.
Okay, is it still within 120 feet of me?
Absolutely.
Then you know what I'm doing.
Bring it on.
Holt.
What's the saves that I need to make?
$15.
Oh, man. It's got to be a dex save, DC 15, right? Is it a dex save?
15's a dex save, and the damage is 29 points of damage.
And you strike it with lightning as it just screeches out for how much damage did you say?
29.
29. Go ahead, Sylvia.
I mean, does it sound like they're really trying to fight it, or does it sound like they're getting the butt kicked and I should still dig a hole?
You hear the crackle of lightning and the screech of an eagle.
Yeah, I'm digging a hole. Because I said I'm going to dig a hole unless someone...
Your hole is big enough for 3.
Good. Halfway done.
Go ahead, Holt.
There's nothing much I can do. Like, is it within 120 feet?
It is still feet.
I'm sorry, what was that?
Yes, it is still within 120 feet.
Okay, I'm gonna try and chuck my last javelin at it then.
And you can chuck your other javelin. Go ahead.
All right. So I still get advantage on that. Ooh, that's 24.
And you strike it.
For 5 damage.
And your spear hits it and immediately bursts into flames. It looks like it dealt a minor amount of damage. And Gilderoy, what are you going to do?
So, in that last attack, that was kind of like a fireball of some sort. Because it smacked me pretty hard. So I'm thinking like I'm pulling on Holt, and this fireball kind of comes in between us, but he, being significantly more durable than me, took the blow significantly. Took it better. And I got like, blown away, maybe like ragdolled across the forest floor here until I skid past Sylvia's hole. And I'm gonna jump in the hole.
Good idea. You're going to jump in the hole, and you are going to see Oswego circle back around, and it is going to swoop down through the trees, trying to grab you with its two gigantic claws. Holt. What's your AC?
11.
Yeah, it hits hard as it pierces your skin, drags you up a tree, and releases you. You're going to take 26 damage.
What kind of damage is this?
This is slashing damage.
Okay, I'm resistant against that, so half that.
Okay, 13 slashing damage.
Okay.
And yeah, and the creature's, going to just kind of like be flying away. Nethouse, your turn.
You're muted.
How many of them are in the hole?
There are currently 2 in the hole, and there is currently space for 3.
I yell out because I don't technically know that. How many can you fit in that hole?
We could fit maybe one more. Holt will need more time, and I'm kind of like just
No, Holt, get in. And then I start casting. Oh well, I didn't think to ask this. Is there just straight dirt under me, or is there any stone?
There are some like glacial boulders around you, but it's mostly dirt under you.
Okay, can I get to one of them boulders? How far away are they from me?
There's a boulder within 20 feet of you easily.
Okay, I run over that boulder and cast Meld into Stone.
Fantastic. You just like almost dive into this boulder with some real druidic shit right there. And Sylvia, on your turn, I imagine Gilderoy is helping you dig now, and there is enough space for an additional person with Holt. So there's enough space for 3 regular people and 1 Holt.
Well, that's how many people we need to put in here.
Exactly. And so I assume you're just digging?
Yep, digging.
Great. Holt, what are you going to do?
Holt is not one to back away from a fight, but he does know a fight that can't be won when he sees it. So he's going to look up at the firebird flying through the sky, curse it to the end of its days, and then jump into the burrow.
And you make your way into the burrow, and you see Oswego, the fire eagle, landing right outside the burrow, reaching its claws in, trying to grasp at you guys, just screeching and frantically reaching its beak and pecking and trying to get at you any way it can, but you guys are well out of reach.
Yay, not gonna die today.
Eventually, after a minute or two of this beast just getting frustrated, it will then fly off.
Oh, Jesus. Talk of the gods, and they shall appear.
I was not certain that creature was real, but there's no denying it now.
And like, I'm pretty crispy right now. I got burnt pretty bad. So like,
I'm gonna try and make some salve out of this anesthetic plants that I have, because I still have quite a bit left. I'm gonna mush it up and rub it on your burns.
Yeah, roll medicine.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm trained in medicine. Could I assist him in any way?
Actually, I'm just
Yeah,
gonna have
roll
you
with
do it.
advantage.
Okay. Well, if you're helping me, then I got a 15.
Yeah, you're able to heal like 4 points.
Oh, cool. I was just trying to make it not hurt anymore.
Yeah, that's all I was going for.
Well, you
I'll
got a
take
little.
4 points.
Yeah,
I'm
you got a
not-
little.
I'm not-
Since it was this already antiseptic stuff, it was good. It's good shit. Feels real good.
My burns. They feel so much better. About 4 points better.
That reminds me of a pretty funny joke. How much health do you have? And the DM says, you can't ask that. All right, how do you feel? Well, on a scale of 1 to 75, 33.
Yeah, I seen that. That shit was funny.
Nice. So, what would you cowards hiding in your hole like to do?
All right.
You say cowards. Well, this is the strategy to survival right now. I got wrecked.
You would have assuredly died had you faced off with Oswego.
It's a deity of some kind. Let's fight it. You know? I don't think we should do that. Just a thought. But
He's
yeah,
not even full grown. He's still young.
It's a little baby god.
He's just a wee lad. Yeah, I'm kind of just catching my breath and patting my fur out.
You guys can take a short rest down here if you'd like.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna do that. I'm gonna use some of my hit die.
I'll make the burrow quite a bit larger and comfortable. I didn't take any damage, so I'm fine.
Yeah, you're able to burrow out like a breather hole for a fire so that the smoke evacuates from the burrow and you guys can kind of chill down there for a second. You feel
Yes.
pretty safe.
3 hit die. So you get a total of 11 health back.
All right. You guys are licking your wounds, tending to the fire, and it's funny. You kind of laugh at the dichotomy of fire. On one hand, it brings you comfort, warmth, security, allows you to cook food, and on the other, when wielded by a power such as Oswego, the power of nature, it can be devastating. And you know that Nature is not good or evil, but it is assuredly powerful.
Such wisdom.
What would you like to do now?
I think Gilderoy has been like nervously watching out like the hole to see if this bird is left.
You hear no sound of it, nor see any sight of it. Just some smoldering bushes still on fire from where the beast has landed.
Well, I don't hear it. I don't see it. Doesn't mean it's not out there.
Well, we can't stay in here forever. So we got to go out eventually, and if it's gone, we might as well try and go now. I don't think it's out there. Doesn't seem like something to just sit around and wait forever.
You're so lucky I didn't think of that this until too late. I should have come out of that stone and come over by the hole and put a little fire out and made some noise.
Yeah, that works great. You can, yeah, I mean, because you were in the stone, so how long does your meld into stone last?
It can last up to 8 hours.
Okay, so yeah, you're able to wait for a good while until you know the bird's gone and then go put out some fires on bushes. And yeah, what would you guys like to do?
What time of day is it? Like, it's late enough that we might want to make camp, or is it still...
No, it's midday. You guys got an early start, so
All
you're
right, well
about
then,
half day's journey from Red Burrow.
Yeah, Holt is going to go ahead and climb up out of the burrow and scan around and just dust himself off and just wait for the other two to come out of the burrow and for Nethhouse to come out wherever he was. And just get ready to keep on going, keep on trekking.
yeah,
So,
this is to
so
go.
you guys make your way down the path without seeing any more signs of Oswego. He must have moved on, trying to find some other source of food. You're scared, you're careful, and you're able to finally make your way to the rendezvous point of Red Burrow. Upon reaching it, you see several moles, all clad in like lizard skin and snake skin armor, and holding hammers and picks and axes and all manner of fine weapons. And they see you guys approaching, and they kind of wave you over with their big claws.
Hail there. Are you the moles we've been sent to meet with?
Oh, of course we are. We're from Holt. We're from Holt City. Been waiting for you guys for hours. Where you been?
Well, sir, it takes some time to get here. You know.
We were also met with some trouble on the road on the way here.
Right. Trouble on the road. That's why you're here. We're no longer sending these caravans unattended to. You guys will be taking them, we know.
Yes, that's what we've been told. Might I ask, your finest leather worker, where might I speak with them?
Oh, we ain't got no leather workers with us here. They're all back in Mole City.
Oh, that's right. This is Redborough.
Why do you ask, though? My cousin is the finest leather worker in all of Mole City.
I recently came in possession of this, and I present to them the giant snakeskin that I have in the sack over my shoulder. I request some armor be made from this.
The mole will kind of rub its eyes with its gigantic claws and say,
Goodness gracious! Is that the skin of Farsi?
Yes, are you familiar with this beast?
Of course we are! Farsi's been terrorizing those Monmouths for decades. I can't believe you killed it. We'd be proud, us mole peoples, to make you a fine armament, Big Badger.
Well, yes, I would be grateful for this, but you see, it isn't for me. It is a future gift for someone. A young mouse girl. It's a present for her when she comes of age. I might ask that it be a suit of armor made in the proper proportions for such a person.
Oh, right, right. Well, if it's for a mouse, then we can make a fine set of armor, as well as some weapons to go along with it.
Yes, that would be quite agreeable.
Thank you, Big Badger. It would be an honor for us to make this for you.
And if there's any left over, I'd be more than happy for you to take it and make whatever you will with it.
Right you are.
Might I ask, though, that the skull be left intact? I would like to keep that as a trophy.
You will have the skull, but minus the fangs. The fangs will be used for the weapons.
Ah, yes, I understand. Will you charge for this, or?
Charge, of course not. You slain the mighty Farsi. The mole are an honorable folk. We make for you what you have been rewarded.
Well, it's about time I met someone who knew something about honor around these parts.
Oh,
Thank
us
you.
moles and badgers are more akin than you think.
and so the mole will gladly take the skin and show you guys the caravan of goods that it has. And it's filled with barrels of cider and beer, bushels of apples, loads of grain that has been milled into rough flour, and also barrels of butter and all sorts of necessary resources. One cart full that he kind of looks to and it's not drawn by anything, so it looks like you guys have to pull it yourselves.
Oh.
Well, yes, I see the cart, but where are the caravan workers?
Oh, caravan workers. You're a hoot, Big Badger. Here you go.
They'll kind of like take off these like leather harnesses that they have that they strap themselves to the cart with and hand it to you guys. The Badger very well fit at all because they're too kind of big and clunky, but it is what you have.
I think there's been some confusion here. We are escorting, not dragging.
Well, if you want us to take it all the way, that will require a little compensation. We were told just to meet you here and that you'd be taking the provisions back.
You guys can go ahead and try to roll a persuasion to see if they will take it for you.
Rolls are not with me tonight. I've got a 9. So maybe Gilderoy, who's clearly burnt, is trying to play off like, hey, you should pull the cart because we're struggling to try and help you guys.
Yeah, they're
Holt,
having none of it.
a Holt will hold out 20 gold and an emerald medallion in exchange for pulling this cart while we escort.
They will sniff it, lick it, and gladly accept it in exchange for their services. And you guys get 4 hardy moles to pull the caravan for you as you head out from Redborough. So how would you guys like to proceed all the way back to the refugee camp now? Any plans?
Holt will stay out in front.
I'm gonna bring up, like, what are we gonna do about the fact that that bird might return?
We'll deal with that when it comes to that. We have nothing to prepare for such a thing.
Seems like poor advice. We should make a plan, not scramble at the last minute once we see it swooping down.
I think that is going to be the plan, I'm afraid. Unless you have a giant water cannon to extinguish that thing.
I do not believe that I could be hiding a giant water cannon on my person.
Well, I can make it rain in a 30-foot area, or I can put an ice storm up, but it's 40 foot high, 20-foot radius. But it's also going to make it hard for any of us to move around. And I really don't know that it's going to do much to him.
Well, that's worrisome.
As you guys are headed back along the path, I want you all to make a survival check.
Okay.
15.
24.
8.
I got an 11.
Okay. The terrain is, and it's kind of the smoke from the fire has seemed to settle in this area, lands, and so it's kind of been rough trekking through here, and your lungs are burning a bit again. And Sylvia and Holt, you guys notice that there are signs of high foot traffic since you guys have been through here.
I'm gonna try and look to see what kind of foot traffic.
Go ahead and roll.
Let me see. If it is okay, I'll just roll like this. All right. That's not very good. It is a 13 if it's not humans, and it is a 21 if it is.
Okay, so you can tell that these are a lot of footprints, and so it's kind of like covering up what specific type of footprints they are.
By humans, I mean, like we would be considered humans in this case.
Right. So they are humanoid, yes.
All right. Let me see. When I'm tracking other creatures, I learn their exact number, their sizes, and how long ago they passed through the area.
So this looked to be a group of 12 that passed through about an hour ago.
All right, I relay this information that about an hour ago, 12 men walked through here. They're probably not too far off if we want to go investigate, but seeing as we're supposed to be guarding a caravan, it might be a waste of our time, but it also might give us a chance to ambush people who might ambush us. It's not clear.
I say go check.
Sylvia will nod and dart off to go follow the tracks.
Okay,
I didn't hear that.
sorry, is anyone going to go with you, Sylvia?
Probably not. I mean, they can if they want to, but
Okay, so are you going to be stealthily following this, or are you going to just be following the tracks?
stealthily.
Okay, so roll a stealth.
23.
Okay, so you, after following the path for quite some time, about 15 minutes, you're now a good mile away from your compatriots. Definitely cannot see you or hear you, but if you were to run, it would only take around 6 minutes for you, 5 or 6 minutes for you to run back to them. But you follow these tracks deep, and for about 15 minutes, a mile away, and then you see this group of well-armored weasels, stoats, and rats that are setting up with some gigantic nets and ballista, and they have it. You can see one of the rats, it has climbed a tree and has a series of colored flags with him.
Do I have any idea what these colors and flags might be for? Like signal flags, maybe?
Go ahead and, well, I mean, yeah, you can assume that. That's what they are.
What time of day is it now?
It is like mid-afternoon, almost verging on evening.
Trying to decide if I want to wait. Okay, I will. I'm gonna make a mental note of where this is. I'm gonna move away quite a bit, and then I'm gonna run back to my companions.
Okay, you're able to do that, no problem.
All right, I get back and I tell them what I saw, and I'm gonna suggest that I want to go and try and sabotage them a little bit, and then I'll run away and catch up to them again. That's what I say. I say, let's see, they are set up. Clearly, the rat's army, setting up ballista and nets I want to get in there and cut some stuff up. Maybe throw some daggers at their nets. Maybe throw a firebomb at their ballista. And then run away. They're not going to be able to catch up to me once I start running.
And this is what you're telling your compatriots?
Yes.
I have no doubt that you can pull this off, but if you get caught, we have no way of helping you.
Well, that's a risk I'll have to take then.
No input here, Gilderoy? Nothing else?
It's what he's good at. I say let him do it. The reality is we can harass. The more we harass him, the more it helps our situation overall anyways. Because which direction are they heading towards?
It seems as though they were set up and were no longer moving once Sylvia saw them.
Yeah, but they're getting ready to.
They could be
attack
going for the
somebody.
town for all we know.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, yeah, so what was your plan, Sylvia? Go ahead and explain it, and I'll let you do it.
So what Sylvia wants to do, she wants to try and she might even need help with this, but she wants to make a couple firebombs or something and throw them at the ballista and basically from a distance rain a little havoc on them and then run away. And
Okay.
then, I mean, potentially, if it would be possible and not take up too much game time, she might want to do a little bit of some guerrilla warfare against it, set up some traps around their camp. Just generally make it so if they try and go do anything, they're going to get a pretty bad day.
Right. So when you go and approach them, I want you to roll a stealth.
Absolutely. That die is cocked. 14 and 7 is 21.
Okay. All right. So you're able to sneak up. You see that orders are being given, and the rat is waving different flags, and these rats are kind of all performing their various tasks. Some are up in the trees ready to launch the net, and there are a couple down below handling the ballista. Want to throw the go ahead and roll an attack if you're going to do that.
I'm sorry, what was the last thing you said?
If you're going to throw the firebombs at the ballista, go ahead and roll an attack for that.
Okay. 14 and... am I proficient with them?
Yeah, it's a thrown weapon.
Okay, then I add... So it's 21. That's funny.
You are able to throw some alcoholic concoctions on fire, Molotov cocktails at them that kind of splash over it and catch this thing on fire. But as you do that, you hear the screech of an eagle and hear the breath of a fire weapon kind of spraying that area that you just threw the fire bombs at. And all of the rats are on fire, screeching as you see the ballista that fires, and you see the net go, and it misses the eagle, and all of the rats are kind of on fire in confusion, and you can see that they had a like whistle that was calling for the eagles with a, you know, just you'd blow into it and it would mimic an eagle call. And so you saw that, but you now finding this a perfect opportunity to run away as all the rats are confused.
Good. Then yeah, I will just book it on out of there.
As you book it on out of there, I want Charles and Baron and Holt to roll perception.
14.
And Charles and Holt.
18.
16.
So that all of you guys are going to be able to hear and see all around you. You hear the deafening screeches of eagles coming from almost everywhere around you, and you hear the roar of fire burning. You guys, I assume Nethaus like climbs a tree, and maybe Gilderoy does too. You guys hop to some high branches so you can try to get a look at what's going. And as you look out, you see this eagle, Oswego, is swooping down on various patches of the forest, burning them. And you see ballistas shooting up towards it. And after you see a few of it, looks like it swoops down and burns an area near where Sylvia was. And then you see it turning around, diving back down on other areas, getting struck by a few ballista bolts, and finally a net going over it, capturing it as Oswego plummets to the ground, and you can feel the ground shake. You see various flags going up around different locations from where these bolts and arrows were coming from. And that is where we'll end the session.
Awesome.
Awesome.
So Oswego has been captured.
All right. Well, then I'm gonna wrap this up then, if that's cool.
Yeah, go ahead. Thanks for watching, everyone. Thanks for playing, guys. I mean,
Yeah, absolutely. Had a great time as always. This has been another RWD gaming video. Check us out next time. And that's all we got for now.